Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith and welcome to my review of the latest episode of The Bachelorette. Yes, I am a grown man sitting in my kitchen coming to you to talk to you about several grown men who all got together to talk about their experiences with Rachel and how they all have one thing in common. She didn't want any of them. Ooh, this is an exciting point in my day. It is called the Men Tell All, but in all fairness, it should be called filler. Because all it is really doing is filling out an episode before we get to the 3-hour finale. Yes, we got to see Kenny and Lee and their whole feud. We got to see Iggy and Diggy, although Iggy and Diggy's only exciting in my mind because I think it's funny that we got two grown men named Iggy and Diggy. We got to see Dean, but unfortunately Dean's dad wasn't there because to me he's the real highlight of that family, and I mean that sincerely, but we did get to see some video footage of him. So the Men Tell All is fun. We get to, revisit some of the different rivalries and happenings that have happened on the show. It's filler. So for the most part, I think to myself, why am I talking about this episode? Oh yes, because I said I was going to blog about this entire season, and the Men Tell All is definitely part of this season. So let's get to a couple of highlights. First of all, of course, the ladies love Dean. Well, ladies, he's going to be showing up on Bachelor in Paradise. Not that there's been any controversy with that show. But anyways, he's going to be showing up on Bachelor in Paradise, which pretty much eliminates him from the pool of suitable bachelors for the next season. Which means if my prediction of Brian winning it is correct, it comes down to Peter and maybe Eric. Well, I don't think it's going to be Eric, and I don't think it's going to be Peter, because right off the bat, we know the guy does not want to get engaged right away. That's kind of what the show is pushing for. But before we get to the finale, let's talk about the Men Tell All. So for the most part, if you've seen any of these tell-all episodes, they're all the same. People whine, people complain, the feuds come up. But the most entertaining aspect for me was the feud between Kenny and Lee. Now, of course, Lee did everything he could do to get under people's skin, mainly Kenny's, and Kenny allowed him to do so. In the end, they were both telling Rachel different things, and she had to decide which one of them was lying and which one was telling the truth. She decided that it was Lee that was lying to her, and she decided that she was going to keep Kenny, and they were going to ride off in a helicopter together. But unfortunately, Kenny didn't want that to just happen, so he went back and confronted Lee before he got on the chopper, which of course left Rachel thinking, why did you have to do that? Kenny, let's be honest with ourselves here. It doesn't matter what you would have done in that situation. Whether you'd stayed, whether you went back, you still were going to get eliminated because your name's not Brian. Now, of course, Lee was something of a, I don't know how to put it, racist. A little backwards thinking is Lee. This is the same guy that was tweeting out things like, what's the difference between the NAACP and the KKK? Say it ain't so, Lee. Anyways, now, they all had this intervention, don't you know, in terms of trying to get Lee to say goodbye to his ways. And it was interesting because I believe that racism isn't some sort of disease in the sense of you don't just automatically get it. It's something that you learn. You learn to read, you learn to write, you learn to ride a bike, you learn to be racist. That's what I believe. So if you can learn something, then you can definitely unlearn something. And I do believe that as well. I just don't believe you unlearn it in front of an audience on television. So this whole intervention and Lee saying, oh, I'm going to change my ways was really great for ratings. But if Lee knocks on my door in the middle of the night, I still ain't answering. Anyways, Lee, Kenny, all of them, all they have in common is the fact that they were outcast from the show and that she did not want to be with them. Not that they're not wonderful people. Well, not you, Lee, but the rest of them aren't. It's not that they're not wonderful people. It's just the fact that they're not Brian, which brings us into next week's episode. So I don't necessarily think it's a bold prediction to say that I think Brian's going to win. I've been talking about it for the last few episodes, coupled with the fact that she's all over the guy. I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks Eric has a chance. And how can Peter have a chance when he's telling this woman who wants to get engaged that he wants to wait? Heaven forbid. Anyways, what do you guys think is going to happen next week? Let me know. And did any of you find any sort of entertainment in the tell-all? I know some people did, but I just wasn't one of them. I'm not a big fan of all the whining, and it was just, you did this wrong, and you did that wrong. It's like, just stop. Anyways, Men Tell All is over, thank goodness, which means next week we get into the finale. Thank goodness, which means finally this season will be over. One of the things that I've learned is it doesn't matter if the contestant is black or if they're white or whatever nationality or background or ethnicity, because at the end, chances are they're going to make some messed up decisions. Anyways, let me know what you think. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/Witty Whittier, and WittyWhittier.com. Thanks so much for checking this out, and I will see you next week. Bye.